Hi then guys, welcome to the fourth quest in the Ringmaker cycle. We haven't got quite as much fluff to read this time, so I'm just going to do it in the same video. Plus, it's kind of embarrassing when we do a nice short fluff video, and then I lose immediately, like in the Trouble from Tharbad. Let's see if we can get this one. This is quite a hated community quest. So this is, now I'm probably going to say it wrong, the Nîn-in-Eilph. Not sure. I'm going to go with the Nîn-in-Eilph. The Nîn-in-Eilph. We'll go with that, even though that's completely wrong. With Belloq's orcs scouring the country around Tharbad looking for the dwarf, the heroes have chosen to flee with him into the Nîn-in-Eilph, a vast swampland that has been undisturbed for ages. By taking this path, the heroes hoped they would throw the orcs off their trail and come to Hollin on the other side. But after wandering for a day through the pathless marsh, the heroes were growing tired of Nelea's complaints were getting louder. "I told you this was a bad idea," Nelea grumbled as he struggled through the marsh and sank to his chest. "I don't like to get closer to the water than the river bank. Dwarves don't swim, you see." Despite the roguish dwarf's protests, the heroes trudged on. The mission they had undertaken for Saruman to find Keller Brimbor's forge was important, but all the more urgent now that the enemy was searching for it too. Nelea, however, cared little for Saruman and less about his mission. He had only agreed to make the crossing with the heroes for fear of the orcs, but there was something about the swamp that made him more afraid. As they slogged through the endless marsh, they began to hear noises and gentle splashes. A foul smell overtook the heroes, and a sense of dread stopped them where they stood knee-deep in the swamp. Unconsciously, they drew their weapons and faced outwards to see the murky water rippling towards them. Nelea thought he saw a long, dark shape snake its way across the surface. "There's something out there," muttered the dwarf. The heroes strained their eyes but could see nothing through the fog that had settled over the swamp. "We can't stay here," said Nelea, trying to stay near the centre of the group. "We've got to find a way out." The heroes knew he was right. Whatever dangers lurked in the Nîn-in-Eilph, the heroes would have to brave them in order to reach the other side. Now, I have made some changes to my deck because this quest has a few cards that really punish equipment. So I've taken out a lot of my items, therefore my attachments, and subbed in a few more alloys. However, this quest also has a stage that absolutely hates Arrestor, so we'll see how that goes. You've entered the vast marshlands of Nîn-in-Eilph with Nelea in order to escape Belloq and his orcs. Now you must cross the swamp in order to reach Hollin on the other side. The first player takes control of Nelea, sets the ancient marsh dweller aside out of play. Each player searches the encounter deck for a different location and adds it to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck. I technically should do my decisions before we get to this. I shouldn't make the same mistake. So I've chosen the Sinking Bog, which is the aforementioned place that hates items. So while it's in the staging area, each character gets -1 will, attack, and defense for each item attached to it, and this ability does not stack with other copies of Sinking Bog. So I've taken out basically all the items in the deck except for the Gondorian Shield, because that's still a net gain of defense, but given how it reduces all stats, the idea of that getting choked into the staging area I might regret this. We'll find out. So starting hand, healing is going to be massive in this. So Honor Guard, great, but obviously can't play it first turn. Quick Beam, Iroleth, which is a new addition. I've taken out Lembas and added her. Spend 1 law resource to exhaust her, then heal 3 points of damage on a character. That's amazing, and it's first turn, so I can play it. So you know what? I'll keep that because it's got some healing in it. Right. So no traveller has entered the Nîn-in-Eilph for an age, and there is no path through the shifting marshlands. You must find your own way through the treacherous bog. When revealed, advance to a random, stage 2A. So this is very much one of the things that people hate about this quest, is it takes something from that first cycle, Shadows of Mirkwood, where you'd go back to a stage you haven't completed. Instead, in this one, if you don't complete the stage, you'll go to another random one. So, when revealed, raise each players by threat by 1. Our Nîn-in-Eilph does the same threat raising thing. A Forgotten Land. Okay, this one is pretty awful. Time 3. Forced. After the last time counter is removed from this stage, advance to a different stage 2A at random. Return this stage to the quest deck. Each player cannot play more than 1 card a round. Well, that's great on my first turn, where all I want to do is play cards. Right. And... oh, look at this hand. So good. I mean, that's all of my Light of Valinors, which means Arrestor's going to have to quest. Or the thing is, I absolutely must have that healing. Alright, I'm going to play Nîn-in-Eilph for nothing. Then I'm going to discard a card to give Arrestor a resource. Oh man, that is absolutely awful. Right, questing. Arrestor and Arwen will go on the quest. Oh, it's a giant swamp adder. Can't have attachment. Oh, let's get a little bit closer because there's only 2 types of enemies ready in this quest. Cannot have attachment. Oh, 3-3-3-6. Cannot have attachments. Anytime any number of time counters are removed from the current quest, giant swamp adder attacks the engaged player. I mean, let's be honest. We have probably lost this quest. Right, so that's 4 threat, that's 5 progress. I mean, there's no way I'm finishing this stage in time, so I'm just mitigating things. Right, let's go to the Sinking Bog. Definitely not engage the Swamp Adder. All of these cards get discarded. Threat goes up by 2 because of Nîn-in-Eilph. Draw 4 cards, although I can only play 1 of them. Oh, and a time counter gets removed, which is good because we don't want to be at this location forever. Alright, Gondorian Shield, Mithlon Sea Archer, Imradris Caregiver, and Veteran Sword Elf. Now, really, we want that Gondorian Shield on Mablung because someone's got to get hit by this thing. But in theory, it's going to be attacking twice the second we engage it. So... Alright, let's get the Gondorian Shield onto Mablung, and then technically we can't use any of these cards, so I'll discard a card to give Arwen a resource. Questing Arwen and Arrestor. The Nika Breakers. So they are 20 engagement, 2 threat, 1 attack, 1 defense, 6 hit points. Forced after any number of time counters are removed from the current quest, the engaged player must deal 2 damage to an ally he controls. Well, this actually isn't the end of the world for us. So that's 5, that's the same. Because we actually have Nîn-in-Eilph, so at least we can heal through it. So no progress. Engage Nika Breakers. Now, I did say I wasn't going to defend with Nîn-in-Eilph, but I think I'm going to here. So Nika Breakers, Nîn-in-Eilph defending. Attacking only gets +1 attack, +2 instead if the defending character is undamaged. He is. So that puts him up to 3, which means he does a wound. Oh look, history is repeating itself. And then Mablung hits the Nika Breakers back and does a wound. A time counter is removed from the quest, which means I must deal 2 damage to an ally I control. Right, so before I do that, I'm going to exhaust Nîn-in-Eilph, spend a resource to heal Nîn-in-Eilph 3 wounds, and then deal 2 damage to Nîn-in-Eilph from the Nika Breaker effect, and then I can just heal him again next turn with Nîn-in-Eilph. Right, threat up by 2, which means that... Oh, I get a resource from Mablung because I engaged the Nika Breakers. Discard my hand. Okay, so... I can only play 1 card. So out of all of these, only 1 of these can be played. I mean, let's be honest, guys. it is going bad. I'm thinking Lindy might be the way to go. Thing is, that giant swamp adder is going to attack someone. And Mablung can only defend once. So Lindy could, being the operative word, survive a hit from it. So I think Lindy is the way to go. So we'll play Lindy. I don't even really want his card draw ability. Let's discard a card to give Arwen a resource, spend one law resource, and exhaust Nîn-in-Eilph to heal Nîn-in-Eilph. Right, questing. You know what? Let's take the risk. Let's send Arwen. Thing is, I can't afford my threat to go up. Let's send Arwen and Lindy, and actually we'll have a restore to defend the giant swamp. Remove a hero from the quest and attach in need of rest to that hero. Counts as a condition attachment with the text, limit 1 per hero. After a time counter is removed from the current quest, the attached hero takes 1 damage. Cool. So that's just 2 against 3 threat. So we gain a threat, which means we have to engage the giant swamp adder this turn. So we engage, which gives Mablung a resource. So the giant swamp adder on Mablung. Attacking only gets +1 attack for each time counter on the quest. There's only 1, so that's 4, which means no damage. And then the Nika Breakers on Nîn-in-Eilph. Attacking only gets +1/+2 if the attacking counter is undamaged. So, oh no, it can't go on Nîn-in-Eilph because then I have to deal 2 damage to an ally and that will kill anything. So, oh, actually, whatever happens, we're completely hosed here. Man, this stupid quest. Okay. Right. End of the round. Time counter is removed, which means the giant swamp adder makes an attack on a restore. No shadow text, so he deals a wound. The Nika Breakers do 2 damage to an ally. It has to be Lindy, really. So Lindy is dead. We go to a different stage 2. They both cause us to raise our threat by 1. This is where we get the draw 1 card a turn one. Yes, player card effects cannot be used to gain resources or draw cards. So I will only draw 1 card a turn and then I will discard it. So forget being able to play 1 card a turn. I'm only drawing 1 card a turn. So that's me. That's pretty much the quest gone and hosed there. Oh, and the time counter was removed, which means a wound to Arwen. 2 threat up from Nîn-in-Eilph. We draw 1 card. Bunch of resources. We play the card. Shuffle Zelrong's Council back into the deck. Questing. Well, Arwen and the Gladrim Weaver. Fen of Reeds. Once in the staging area, it gains after the players advance to a quest stage, each player must exhaust a character he controls. That's 2. They're 4, so that's 2 progress onto Sinking Bog. The giant swamp adder on Mablung. No shadow text, so it bounces off him. The Nika Breakers onto Nîn-in-Eilph. Attacking enemy makes an additional attack after this one. So undefended onto Mablung. +2 attack because he's not wounded. So that's 3 wounds. Then Nîn-in-Eilph will spend a resource and heal 3 wounds off Mablung. We remove a time counter, which means we do 2 damage to an ally, kills the Gladrin Weaver. A time counter gets removed, which means the Giant Swamp Adder does an attack on a restore. This attack destroys a character, remove or progress from the current quest. Didn't destroy him, it did a wound. And a time counter was removed, so we do a wound to Arwen. This seems like an exercise in a giant waste of time, because drawing 1 card a turn and getting things killed every turn and making no progress, I don't see this changing. Elrond's Council. Oh, threat goes up by 2. Threat goes down by 3. Nîn-in-Eilph needs to do that to heal Arwen, or she dies. Arwen goes on the quest. Oh, it's limit 1 per hero, so that's wasted at least. We put 2 progress onto the Sinking Bog. Enemy phase. Giant Swamp Adder attacks Mablung. No shadow text. He's fine. Nîn-in-Eilph's attack Nalir. No boost, so he's fine. Time counter is removed, which means Arwen takes a wound. 2 damage is dealt to an ally, which means Nîn-in-Eilph is dead. And the Giant Swamp Adder attacks a restore. No shadow text, so a restore takes a wound. I will play this out until my heroes get killed, because I've started the camera, so why not? Thread up by 2, up to 39. You know what, I've probably been forgetting to do resources. Let's assume that a restore had enough resources, shall we? For the Welling Hall Preserver, for all the difference it will make. Arwen will go on the quest. It's another Nîn-in-Eilph. So that's 4. Arwen is 1. That's 1 threat. Nîn-in-Eilph's engage. Technically, it gives Mablung a resource. Mablung defending against the Giant Swamp Adder. No shadow text, he's fine. Undefended Mablung against the Nîn-in-Eilph. He makes an additional attack, so he takes a wound. Undefended on Mablung. No shadow text, so he takes a wound. Let's put this defended by a restore. He makes an additional attack, so that's undefended on the Mablung. This attack destroys a character. It doesn't. It does 1 wound. And then end of the round, that token's removed, which means Arwen takes a wound. And we have to deal 2 damage to 2 different allies. So 2 damage to the Welling Hall Preserver and another 2 damage destroys it. And the Giant Swamp Adder makes an attack on the Lear. No shadow text, so it does 1 wound. Threat goes up by 2. We go to a new stage 2. Gain a threat. To commit characters to the quest, the player must discard a card at random from his hand. Right, the one that we could do. And yep, that's that. So now we draw 4 cards. So we have enough Mablung resources to play both of these heroes. So let's play them. We have enough Restore resources to play the Protector of Lorien. So let's play it. Oh, I think I forgot to do the wound on Arwen from In Time of Need. So she's dead. Skimbark is exhausted. And don't think we can really send anyone on the quest. So that is 4. Oh, another Nîn-in-Eilph. Great. So that's 4 threat up to 46. The Nîn-in-Eilph engages, which gives Mablung a resource. There are 4 attacks. I technically have 4 defenders, but the second I remove something from there, we're going to have an undefended giant swamp adder. And the Nikabrikas are going to do 6 damage to allies, which will kill Skimbark and cripple the veteran sword elf. So I'm going to call it there. Well, that was absolutely awful. I think I've played this quest twice before, and actually gotten all right with it. I think I was really, really fortunate with the draws on those instances. Both times it was with like an Arrestor deck. Yeah, that was miserable and awful. Yeah. You might think, why on earth would you upload a video with a miserable, awful gaming experience? Well, that's the reality of Lord of the Rings. Unfortunately, they're not all sunshine and rainbows. The Fellowship was pretty lucky with its quest to succeed. That was really naff. I think I managed to do 1 wound to 1 enemy, and I think I put 1 progress onto a quest. Yeah, just being able to play 1 card a turn is just so suffocating. When you're losing essentially more than 1 card a turn. So there we go. So far in this cycle, let's see, I've won the 3 in the deluxe. Did I randomly lose one? No, I won the 3 in the deluxe, and I beat the 3 trials, and then I've lost to the Dunland Trap, Trouble in Tharbad, and Nîn-in-Eilph, which is probably the punishment you get for not saying it right. Right, guys, the next quest is the Thing in the Ruins. What's it called? Oh, Celebrimbor's Secret. So we'll see if that has any more success. See you next time. Bye.